Means it's time for the first federal program on WROI Cheyenne FM and streaming live on the First Federal Facebook page.
It is indeed Friday morning. A little bit of a chilly start, but we are at the end of September, and Todd Van Sickle joins us from First Federal for today's program. Good morning, sir.
Thank you, Moose. Welcome today.
I'm glad to be here.
Beautiful, so am I. Beautiful day today.
Yes.
Beautiful weekend coming up.
Yeah, I saw that. We're talking 70 degrees tomorrow.
70 degrees and in the 40s in the evening.
Yes.
Cool mornings, cool evenings, beautiful days.
Yep, nothing like 70 being the exciting temperature.
That is true. We welcome Brian Johnson today, Development Director from the Community Foundation. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you for having me.
He'll be our special guest today, talking about some great matching opportunities later in the show for the Community Foundation. We also welcome Jody Wynn behind the scenes today. Thank you, Jody, for helping out. Always pitching in and helping out. Thank you.
Good morning.
Lead story this week, unfortunately, Hurricane Ian.
Yeah.
A lot of devastation in Florida, southwest Florida, and even northeast Florida, and now heading on to South Carolina. Just looking at the pictures are just, it's amazing just how widespread the devastation is. And
Yeah. And Todd, you've got a little bit more knowledge than I do. And Brian, you do too. You guys might know the answer to
it's a
this.
dangerous question there.
I was sitting there thinking about this last night. Is Ian the first one that's made landfall, went back out, and regained strength?
I don't think so. There was one that went across the central Florida, like Andy, I think, maybe a few years ago, that went back into the Gulf that hit the northern Gulf states, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Brian.
I'm pretty sure there's been multiple that have done that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think wasn't there one that ended up in the New York area
Yes.
recently too? So
I saw something on the news that this is actually the third time it's hit the U.S. because you got to count the Puerto Rico U.S. territory also.
Yeah.
So that might be the first there, I think.
Okay.
But it's unfortunate. Keep those people in your thoughts and prayers, and there's going to be opportunities to help out there. I just encourage people to look at the traditional people that help like that. There's going to be scams out there, so just try to avoid that, but kind of stick with the traditional names that you know if you want to help out with a financial donation. But let's keep them all in our thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, and I do know if you're curious as to what are the legit ones and which ones aren't, flip over to the Weather Channel. They've got complete coverage, 24/7 coverage of Ian, and they're talking about how you can donate and everything else every 10, 15 minutes.
Great words of wisdom to start the show off with, Paul. I may not have to end with that today. Well, it is going to be a beautiful fall weekend. Good chance to go out to the apple orchard. It's a good time of year for that as the calendar turns for October. The Optimist Pumpkin Stand's open.
Yes.
I worked there last weekend to help out United Way and about the Optimist Club, and they have a wide selection of various pumpkins, gourds, and pumpkins that you've never seen before. It's amazing how many varieties there are there.
Yeah, I
know. Jody's been out helping them with the animal center, and so they do a lot of good for the community. So, good weekend to check out the pumpkin stand and some other fall activities out there.
Yeah, they'll hook you up with great decorations, whether it's for your business or home.
I see you're raising your coffee cup today. You're drinking coffee?
Yes.
You do know that yesterday was National Coffee Day, right?
It was, and I had an extra cup to celebrate.
And Tanner threw in a coffee day question today.
Oh, no.
Yesterday was National Coffee Day. Starbucks and Dunkin' are the two largest coffee shops in the U.S. What is the third largest? A. Sheetz. B. Panera Bread. C. Tim Hortons. D. Krispy Kreme. Interesting question, isn't it?
Yeah, especially because I don't know all of those.
Think about it.
I know some of them, but I won't say which ones I do and don't know.
We've got about 30 minutes to come up with the answer. And
Yeah, I'll come up with a guess of some sort.
so moving on to sports today.
Okay.
Football season's still going on. A lot of big games tonight. One is Tippecanoe Valley and Mechaniqua playing for the TRC lead in the conference.
Yeah.
Tippecanoe Valley is 6-0, Mechaniqua is 5-1. Be a nice game tonight at Mechaniqua. Rochester plays at Northfield. Rochester's having a great season too. They're 5-1, taking on Northfield. Caston's at Culver and Winnemax at West Central. Also, it's that time of year when high school sports kind of start winding down a little bit. I know that the girls' soccer tournament starts next week, and I think the boys have finished their season or almost finished their season, and will start their tournament soon. And it means volleyball and golf and cross country things are coming up. So, best wishes for all those athletes in those sports as their fall season starts winding down.
Yes, and I know we got the notification earlier that the boss is ready to start looking at basketball, so that's
Okay.
right around the corner.
High school basketball, college
High school
basketball?
basketball.
Okay.
Yep.
I think the traditional start of high school basketball practice used to be about October 15th. I don't know if that stays the same now or not, but
I'm not sure.
it's just around the corner. And I know colleges have started their practice. It seems like it starts earlier every year.
Well, yeah, I think they start practicing in June.
That's the new NCAA. June, right when the NBA season winds down, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's still football season now, though.
Yes,
So let's
it is.
honor football season. Got Purdue at number 21 Minnesota tomorrow at noon on ESPN2. The Indiana Hoosiers are playing another Big Red Team, Nebraska, tomorrow night at 7:30 on the Big Ten Network. And Notre Dame has the weekend off.
It's good for them.
Yeah, everybody needs a weekend off once in a while, right?
yeah.
Do you ever get a weekend off, Paul?
No.
No, that's what I thought. Yeah. NFL football, Colts are at the Titans on Sunday at 1 p.m. on Fox, and the Bears are at the Giants at 1 p.m. on Fox. And I saw that from RTC social media post that they'll have the Bears game on since it's on the same network at the same time.
And we'll have the Colts game, so you can watch the Bears game and listen to the Colts.
That's
right
the
here
best
on
way to do it.
WROI.
I've done that before, listened to WROI and the Colts. In fact, you caught me one time because last time I was here you mentioned you saw me log in.
Yeah, we've got, if you listen on the app and occasionally, not every time you log on to the app,
Right.
but sometimes it'll say, hey, do you want to tell us your name and how you heard about us? And when you do that, I get the email, and you happened to do that last time, so I was like, oh, hey, Todd's listening.
Well, I'm thankful for Giant FM and WROI because they help out with sports like that. I was in another city where the Colts weren't on, and it was pouring down rain where I was at, so I really wasn't going to go outside, so I turned on the TV, the Colts weren't on, but I thought Giant FM had it.
Yep.
And I've done the same with the Indianapolis 500 too in the past, being in different cities. So thank you for WROI Giant FM for making that service available to its listeners so we can celebrate our local sports.
Yeah, we absolutely love doing it.
Baseball's still going on. I think
It is.
congratulations are in order right now for Moose, right?
Yeah. A little
You and the
bit,
Cleveland Indians have won the division.
Yeah. The Guardians have officially made it to the playoffs every year that they've been around.
Thank you very much for correcting me there.
You know what? There are a bunch of people like my dad who would say you said it correctly and I was wrong. So
The Cleveland Guardians have won their division, and that's a great accomplishment. And I think last time probably was the Cubs World Series year, maybe when they won.
yeah, that was the last time Cleveland won a division.
In 2016, maybe. Or-
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Great news for Cleveland and their diehard fans. The Browns are hanging in there too. It looks like.
I haven't checked it this morning, but last time I checked, they were number one in their division.
Great year
I
for
know it's only
Cleveland.
week 3, but
Hey, there's time to celebrate.
So baseball, the Yankees, the Guardians, the Astros are all won their divisions in the American League, the National League. It's St. Louis and the Dodgers, and the New York Mets and Atlanta are neck and neck. I think they were tied the other day. Now one's one game ahead.
yeah.
But both those teams will get in based on their records, because one will end up as a wild card.
Yeah.
So some people say the real baseball season's starting now, the calendar turning to October. There's nothing like playoff baseball or playoff hockey, things like that.
So we'll start down cheering for our team by the time we get to October.
Yeah, well, it's okay.
But notice I
Won
didn't
once.
Yeah.
say anything about the Cubs.
Well, we did beat Cleveland in 2016.
Are you a Cubs fan, Brian? Awesome, man. I knew I liked you.
Yeah.
So that's sports today. Tanner's offered some tidbits.
All right, what's he got?
He threw me for a curve on this one. On the first one, he said, on this day in 1898, the city of New York was established. I thought, well, that can't be right, you know?
Yeah.
So I had to look it up. That's when New York City became a larger city because they consolidated Brooklyn, County of New York, County of Richmond, and the western portion of Queens. So that's when the 7 boroughs kind of were identified as New York City.
So was it just New York before then?
Don't know what it was. Probably was. New York, just New York. Now it's New York City.
Yeah, Tanner's gonna have to investigate that.
Yeah. Also on this day, speaking of college football, in 1939, the first televised college football game happened. Fordham beat Waynesburg 34-7.
Okay.
None of us remember or probably care about those teams, right? Here's a great one. On this day, last week we had Jetsons trivia, or Jetsons knowledge.
Yeah.
This week, the Flintstones premiered on ABC. One of my favorite cartoons, the Flintstones.
Yeah, and it was definitely the opposite of the Jetsons.
Yeah.
You could go into
Stone
the future
Age,
or into the
Future
Stone
Age.
Age, it depended.
Interesting. Hanna-Barbera, I never really thought of it that way. I do remember that's the first thing I saw on color TV because I was a youngster at that time and my dad brought home a color TV. And the first thing we watched on it was the Flintstones in color. So, big day in my life, you know.
Yeah.
We have some special days today. One other thing about on this day in 1997, Microsoft released Internet Explorer 4.
Mm.
So 1997, that's a long time ago it seems like.
Yeah.
And Internet Explorer 4, now we're up to Edge, I think, is where we changed it from IE 11 to Edge. And
yeah, and then completely eliminated the Internet Explorer portion of everything and
caused a lot of problems with software programs. And now there's lots of variety out there. Google, Firefox.
Google, Mozilla. Yeah, it's all there.
So have fun exploring, celebrating Internet Explorer 4 today. Got some great upcoming events. Pumpkin stands open for the Optimists. Go out and check that out. Also, the Rochester Optimist Club is doing a special event. Their 3rd annual, gotta look at this to make sure I pronounce it correctly, the Pumpkin Chunkin' Contest.
Ah, yes, this is fun.
Yeah, it's on Sunday, October 2nd at 1 p.m. It's the Pumpkin Chucking Contest, where they've invited local schools to, in essence, build a catapult.
Yep.
I would try the French word for that, but I'm not very good. I never had French in high school, but...
Catapult.
Catapult. We'll call it catapult. That's so at 1 o'clock, there'll be a class, basically, for the high schools, and they've been working on plans to build a catapult and see how far they can chunk the pumpkin.
Yep.
I always thought it was chuck the pumpkin, but it's pumpkin chunk.
Well, if you throw it too far or too fast, it blows up. So,
Yeah,
avoid
this is
chucking
true.
the pumpkin.
Is that a physics thing right
I
there?
think so.
Okay. So go out and check that out. It's at the Fulton County Fairgrounds. There's no entry fee for participation or spectating. Winners take home a trophy, and you can look at how some of our local schools have built their own catapult, and then it's kind of fun watching them throw the pumpkin in the air and see how far it goes. And I'm sure they park the cars far enough away, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Some of those get some pretty good distance too.
I've also seen some videos of some that kind of like almost go backwards sometimes too.
Yes.
Unfortunately, so that'll be a great event. Optimist Club are sponsoring their 3rd annual event this year, and go out and support our local schools. And it's going to be beautiful weather. And 1 o'clock on Sunday at the fairgrounds might be something for you to do.
Yeah.
Then you can go to the Optimist Club pumpkin stand after that and get your own pumpkin.
Be like, well, we watched you chunk pumpkins, and now we wanted to buy some.
They want to spur you on to create your own catapult, right?
Yeah, you never know.
So some money news. Down 500 points almost.
Yes.
And I looked really, really hard for positive business news last night, getting ready for this, and I couldn't find any. I'm sorry.
I couldn't either. I saw very devastating news yesterday that some of the experts are saying we're at like 95% of chance of a recession.
I did finally find one piece. Of course,
good.
it's Amazon. They're introducing the Kindle Scribe. Do you know what that is?
Well, I know what the Kindle is.
It's for reading.
Yes.
The Scribe is a tablet for reading and writing.
Okay.
In the past, the Kindle had a singular purpose, digital books and periodicals, purchased through Amazon, of course. Now the Scribe adds writing capabilities. The Scribe will come out later this year and start at $340. So you get a Kindle for about $100 now.
Yeah.
I was talking about this with my wife, and so what's wrong with a notepad? You can still write on a notepad, right?
Exactly. I still have like 4 sitting at my desk.
Yeah, I've got one sitting right here with some notes on it.
Yeah.
But I think the idea is it converts those into like written text as opposed to notes, because sometimes when I write notes, I go back and look at it and I'm trying to figure out what I wrote that.
Yeah, yeah.
But maybe that's the best business good news I can come up with.
So does the Scribe have spell check on my writing too?
I don't know. I haven't looked at that so far.
It'll be interesting if you actually get to write or if you have to type.
It looked at the picture I saw was there was freehand writing.
Okay.
And I guess it probably would, because if it converts it to the type format, you can probably spell check that.
That means I have to write legibly too.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's the problem. Yeah, because we were just talking about that. Like I can't even read my own writing sometimes. So that's the business news for today. First Federal Savings Bank. We're open today from 8:30 to 5, and tomorrow from 8:30 to noon. Got some exciting things going on now. Other good business news. We now have a 15-month CD special with the interest rate at 1.76% annual percentage yield.
Yeah,
It's a great rate in this market.
Yeah.
So if you
yeah.
and it's much greater than what it had been over the past few years as the Fed has raised interest rates for borrowing and raising our deposit rates now. So if you're interested in this, come in and check us out, and be happy to help you out. We continue to offer Simply Free checking accounts and Simply Free business accounts. That's the money that we loan out in the community, so we have got great offerings for our deposit account, so come in and check that out. Then also we loan those out in the community. We're a big mortgage lender, and we still have a fall purchase special going on. So if you're interested in buying a home, even if the rates in the 6-7 range, those are still historically good rates, we'd be happy to help you out. We're going to offer $900 off standard closing costs, and that'll be through the month of October, so take advantage of that now.
Yeah.
And if you have an interest in that, contact Ben Dalton or Stacy Wilson. We're both Rochester and Winnemac, and they'll set up an appointment with you and answer your questions and help you out. Even if you have any questions about what to do in this rate environment, if you have a home improvement need or some other borrowing need, Ben and Stacy would be happy to help you out. They do a really good job of that. So Lindy Breeden, we're still making commercial loans. He's a great expert in our area about knowing how to help you out if you have a commercial real estate financing need or some other commercial or small business need. Contact Lindy. Then also our financial services team, Mark Bluebaugh, Brian Bell, and Wendy Piper. We're happy to help you out with that too, because the Dow keeps going down and you want to wonder what do you need to do. How's your 401k doing? If you're getting a retirement age and maybe have a 401k that you want to roll over, come speak to our team. They'd be happy to help you out. They'll travel wherever you need to, your home, your coffee shop, because they're on the road meeting with customers a lot. So we've got a great team of people, from mortgage lending to commercial lending to financial services and all other services in our bank, even just simple deposit needs, opening a new 15-month special CD or checking accounts. We're happy to help you out and look forward to talking to you, and that's the one way we can help out our community, is be experts on advice for our community.
Yeah.
So you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is where you can see previous highlights or videos of our Friday morning shows, and there's a couple United Way things posted out there about previous campaigns. We're the only locally owned bank in Fulton County. We don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. We are FDIC insured and an equal housing lender, and our MLS number is 399927.
And that makes us legal.
I think I put the right number of nines in there, right,
Yep.
Jody? Were you listening?
Yes.
Good.
3 9s.
3 nines. Sometimes simple things like that. We welcome Brian Johnson, Director of Development of the Fulton County Community Foundation.
Thanks for having me this morning.
It's great to have you here. Fulton County Community Foundation does great things for our community. We appreciate all your work with the Fulton County Community Foundation. Maybe for our Facebook Live listeners and our WRI listeners, tell us a little bit about your history with Fulton County Community Foundation.
Yeah, so the Community Foundation in Fulton County was started in 1993 as a part of the Northern Indiana Community Foundation. That's a question I get all the time. What's the difference between the two organizations? The name. We're the same organization. We deal with 3 counties, Fulton, Miami, and Stark counties. I deal specifically with Fulton County, but so we are a organization that is a charitable organization. Donors make donations to our different funds. Maybe this is a future piece of trivia. We have over 500 funds between all 3 counties.
It's a great number, 500
Over
funds.
200 just in Fulton County.
200. Remember that, Paul. You may see that again.
Yeah, I know. Especially if Tanner's paying close enough attention.
Yes, and so these funds benefit a number of things in our community. Or set them up. Of course, people a lot of times know what a scholarship is, but that also can support specific causes, specific organizations, or even just general grants in the community that we make based on current community needs.
So Brian, you've been involved with leadership there for quite a few years now. Why don't you tell us your history with leadership of the
Yeah, so
Fulton County Foundation?
I got involved with the Community Foundation in 2007 and have been on staff, and it's an exciting thing because we get to see a lot of things in the community. A lot of times people think of our organization as the money organization, which we try and help do that whenever we can. We make grants possible because of donors' contributions, but we also try and connect folks with different needs in the community. Kind of an example, we have in a couple weeks a food pantry summit coming up. We obviously have provided funds to food pantries over the last few years, but for an opportunity to help bring food pantries together, build some collaboration, if there are education things that could be resources to those food pantries, so things like that. So we try and be a leader not only financially, but also if somebody walks in the door and says, hey, I have an idea for this project. We often will try and connect them with other folks that we may know of that have an interest in that or are already working on similar projects. So it's a fun opportunity to be able to connect people that are really trying to make a difference and do good things in our community.
Speaking of the food pantry summit, that's great. I know the foundation sponsors typically a monthly mobile food drive up, and
Yes.
you provide leadership to that and get volunteers, and I've helped out there a couple times. It's a great way to serve the community.
And it's been a huge thing. We've seen a real big increase the last few months hearing from the food pantries, and we've been able to partner with Food Finders, which is an organization that also supports our local food pantries, but do a regular mobile food pantry and help provide food to families. I think the last one we served around 100 families about a week ago, and so it was great to be able to help be a part of the service side of things on that as well.
Well, there's a great team at the Fulton County Community Foundation, lots of people willing to help you out, but also you've got some exciting news coming up about a matching program.
We do. Well, the last few years we've had some opportunities to match monies on Giving Tuesday, and I think we're deeming this our run-up to Giving Tuesday because we can match money before Giving Tuesday. So we were approached by a local business, Rapid View. I want to say thank you to Rex and Chris and Matt and the whole team at Rapid View. Actually approached us earlier this summer and said, hey, we'd kind of like to challenge some local businesses and individuals to get involved in the Community Foundation through donations. Kind of how they got involved with it was through a matching program. So they said, well, we have an idea, and so we've talked about this, and we all thought it was a good idea, so we're going with it. But we have some matching funds available. They had 5 funds in particular that they wanted to provide up to $5,000 total matching for those funds. So each of these funds would be eligible for up to $5,000. The GEM Art Educator Fund, a fund that helps provide art supplies for the Rochester Community School Corporation.
So that a need that's being met, and
It is, and when you talk about it, when I've talked to other local art educators, it's concerning how little funding there is available to support those programs. So this
Just
fund,
need basic supplies.
basic supplies. I mean, you think about how can I do art if I don't have paint or canvas or the materials that I need. So the GEM Art Educator Fund is a really neat fund that helps support K through 12 students in the Rochester School Corporation. Camp We Can, a camp that helps provide a camp experience for individuals with unique needs. Has really been exciting. The Fulton County Parks and Recreation Department. Of course, we have a great system of county parks and improving all the time.
Yes, indeed.
So that endowment fund is available to benefit from this match. The Olive Jane Hathaway Animal Center Supply Fund. We have a great animal center. I was at a conference earlier this week and had a conversation with an organization that was talking about the difficulties their animal center is having just operating, and I think how fortunate we are to have a great organization supporting animals in our community, and holds a special place in my heart because we've adopted animals from there and had a great experience. So,
And our helper this morning, Jody Wins, on
yes,
president of the board there.
President of the board.
And thank you for all you do for the community. And Janet Shalley does a great job. And
Yes, and so many services available through the Animal Center. Sometimes when we have an organization like that, we think, well, we kind of take it for granted because it's here. And then when you hear about other communities that are dealing with the issue and don't have a great organization, it makes you feel great that we have such a great organization here. Talking about animals, the Fulton County 4-H Dog Club, they got an amazing program. I'm not a dog trainer. The only trick I've been able to teach our dog is to go to his crate when he wants to, and
but he shakes hands, doesn't he?
sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
With the reward of a small treat.
He wags his tail a lot.
Okay, that's good.
So I don't know if I can
You've
take credit
accomplished
for
something,
that.
Brian.
Anyway, the 4-H Dog Club does a great job, has a wonderful program here, sends a number of kids to the state fair every year, and has been really successful. So that's another fund that's available to be matched. And each of those funds have up to $5,000 on a dollar-for-dollar matching basis available. And
So a
those,
huge thank you to Rapid View for doing that.
yes.
So what that means, help me understand here, is that Rapid View is going to match any money that anybody gives to those 5 groups up to $5,000
$5,000
each individual
each
group.
on those. So we have already had some donations coming in. So traditionally we've always had these matches on Giving Tuesday, but this was too good not to get started now. So if folks are interested in those, they can make donations now. And then we have one that we wanted to separate because it's a little bit bigger. Our community fund, so the Fulton County Community Fund, it's the fund that makes grants out in the community that we often are able to react to when we talk about things like food pantries, needs like that come up. Rapid View has offered us $50,000
That's awesome.
for gifts to our Fulton County Community Fund.
So that means if somebody gives $100, they'll match up to $50,000.
Yes. Yep.
So that means it's really $100,000 if you can get full
Yes.
participation.
Yes,
That's
and that's
awesome.
and that's great. And when you start thinking about that, $100,000 turns into $5,000 in additional grants every year. So you think about that, the impact of that going into the future. The community funds that we have today, some of them have been given over the past few years, but there are some that were given back in 1993 when the foundation started. So those dollars that were given back then are still working for our community now.
So they're invested prudently through the foundation, and they're earning earnings off that still come back and get used in the community.
So when you think about the age of the community foundation, we're approaching 30 years old. And so we've actually been able to give out more dollars in grants than those initial gifts that came in.
That's amazing.
So it's neat to see how that process works. And the great thing is we can continue to give. So through companies like Rapid View and through individuals that have given, we're able to make grants. I remember one of the first years I was involved with the Community Foundation, we were able to give out $45,000 in community grants. This year, that number is going to be almost $300,000. And so it's neat to see how that impact has happened. And you think about that $300,000, that's not money that we have to compete with other communities with. It's our money. We know it's going to be used here in Fulton County and support some needs that are happening right in our community. So again, like you mentioned, a huge thank you to Rapid View for being willing to provide some matching funds and hopefully help inspire some folks to give as they have.
Right, and then how that money basically doubles, and
Yes.
that's a great contribution to the community through Rapid View. Thank you. You mentioned Rex and Chris and Matt and all the folks out there. You see them around town, give them a handshake or pat on the back and say thank you.
Yes.
But then also consider helping support them by donating to the foundation. And how would they go about doing that?
So folks can do that a number of ways. Obviously checks, you can write out a check, send it to the Community Foundation. We do have our online giving, nicf.org. You can click on a donate button, and if one of these funds that we mentioned today strikes a particular interest, you can let us know that that's where that's going. Checks can be mailed to us, P.O. Box 807 here in Rochester. You can drop it off 227 East 9th Street, can I say, just down the street from the bank.
Yes, you can.
So if you're Todd and you say, hey, I want to make a donation here, where do I go? He can direct you down there. And then we're also thinking about end of year giving. So we're looking at that. A lot of folks give things other than cash gifts. So those are always opportunities as well.
Great. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, especially to Rapid View, for making this opportunity available. Thank you, Brian, to your leadership with the Community Foundation, for the over 200 funds that are managed and distributed locally here. Just some great things happening in our community. And you hear about things like Ian, and our community does a great job of doing the support here. So keep supporting our community through the Community Foundation, and thank you to Rapid View for helping out.
And just a huge thanks, like you mentioned, to Rapid View and all the donors that have made these grants possible. That's really what makes it a great community to live in.
Well, thank you, Brian. Want to participate in the trivia today? Coffee.
I'm good at giving bad answers. I like coffee.
Okay. So, National Coffee Day. Starbucks and Dunkin' are the two largest coffee shops in the U.S. What is the third largest? A. Sheetz, S-H-E-E-T-Z. B. Panera Bread. C. Tim Hortons. D. Krispy Kreme.
I'll let you go first.
This is just a wild guess, but I'm going to say C.
C. Tim Hortons. Yeah, they have a much wider distribution in the U.S. and Canada.
Yeah.
What do you think, Moose?
I'm going to go Panera Bread because a lot here lately I just see it referred to as Panera.
Panera. Okay.
So I've got a feeling there's a reason they're not focusing on the bread as much.
Kind of like Dunkin', maybe?
Yeah. You know, it used to be Dunkin' Donuts, now everybody calls it Dunkin'.
Good logic. Do you want to offer a choice, Jody?
Sure, I'll pick Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme. Okay, so we got 3 of the 4 choices. I think, Moose, you hit the nail on the head again. Panera. I mean, focusing on Panera, not just Panera Bread. So that's the answer.
Tanner makes it too easy sometimes. I think he forgets there's commercials out there that just refer to Panera and not the bread.
Well, thank you everybody for listening today. We want to close with a couple of thoughts here. Thank you again to Rapid View for their help out for a matching program from the Community Foundation. Keep your thoughts and prayers to the residents and people in Florida, because most everybody knows somebody down there or has experienced those areas. And we'll close with our words of wisdom from Stephen Hawking, the physicist. I believe things cannot make themselves impossible. It's a deep thought there.
Yeah, those are great words of wisdom.
Thank you,
guys.
Moose. Thank you, Brian.
We'll see you guys again next week. And Brian, we'll talk to you next week too.
Yes, looking forward to it.
Thank you guys.